This is the infamous Singapore-style Hokkien Mee, and hawker centres is where you find this Singapore obsession. And some say if you haven't eaten Hokkien Mee, you haven't been to Singapore. Today I'm going to show you how you can cook this amazing hawker-style dish from the comfort of your home kitchen. And more importantly, to do it this good. Let's begin by looking at our ingredients. Bean sprouts or taugeh, prawns or what is called shrimps, eggs, squid, pork lard, white and yellow noodles. The proportion is about 50-50, but some prefer just a little more yellow noodles. Remember to keep the prawn heads and the body shells of the prawns. This will be used to make the all-important stock. Speaking about the stock or broth, we will also need about 1 strip of pork belly. So let's go ahead and prepare our broth. I like to begin by first frying our prawn heads and prawn shells. This will bring out the best of its flavors. These are prawn heads from about 700 grams of prawns. After stir frying for about 3 to 5 minutes, you can add about 500 milliliters of water. You should then let this simmer for at least about 30 minutes. The broth will reduce, so remember to top up with hot water from time to time throughout the whole simmering process. After simmering for at least 30 minutes, you may then add in the strip of pork belly. Let this simmer for at least 20 minutes, and that will infuse the broth with extra flavors and also cook the pork belly. Now remove the pork belly to let it rest and cool. Broth has reduced substantially, so I'm adding some water. I'm also adding a tablespoon of sugar, a dash of soy sauce, and a pinch of salt to adjust the taste. And now we are ready to cook the rest of the ingredients. The idea here is not to infuse the prawns with the flavors of the broth, but rather the other way round, to infuse the broth with flavors from the prawns. After about 3 to 4 minutes, we will then remove the prawns. Next, we shall do the same with the squids. Now the squid cooks quicker than prawns, so no more than 3 minutes. After about 3 minutes, set the squid aside and let it cool. Our braised pork belly is now cooled down, and let's go ahead to slice them up into thin slices. Our broth is now ready. All that's left to do is to set it aside and we are ready for cooking. And now finally we are ready to cook our delicious Singapore-style fried Hokkien Mee. To begin with, you want to use pork lard. Bring it to high temperature and then start cooking your eggs. If you are cooking for 4 portions, then use 4 eggs. Remember, we are using pork lard here to cook the eggs, not any oil but pork lard. It will make a difference. Now rigorously scramble the eggs as any good chef would, and then throw in the yellow noodles. I've thrown in too much yellow noodles in this case. We'll remove some before throwing in the white noodles. And now you want to ladle in some stock just for a start. The idea here is to infuse with flavors, but at this stage we are more interested in getting the wok hei to fry our noodles at high heat. And here comes the bean sprouts. I would normally use twice the amount of bean sprouts. It is part of the secret to a good fried Hokkien Mee. But today I'm cooking for the kids, so we'll be using just half the amount. And now let's make this dish really sinful by throwing in all our pork lard. With the pork lard in place, it is time to complete the wok hei process by frying rigorously in high heat. And now we put our broth to good use. Use about half the broth that you have prepared, and we shall simmer this for the first time. Give it a good mix and then let this simmer for about 5 minutes. If it's too dry, you may add some water or more stock. After 5 minutes, we are ready for the second round of simmering in the stock. We don't want to put all the stock at once because that may make the noodles soggy. Give it a good mix and then add in more of the broth. Some people prefer a wetter version of this dish. If that's your preference, simply ladle in 1 or 2 more ladles of hot water. That should do the trick. Mix it all in and we are ready to simmer this for the second time. Mix well and then push the noodles to one side. There's enough here for 4 or 5 portions, but we will be serving one at a time. And here's how we do. At the side of the wok, add in some oil and throw in an insane amount of garlic, but just enough for one portion. Give it a good fry and then slowly fold into one portion of noodles in which you'll be serving. Just like this. Using the same technique, we'll give our ingredients a quick fry, starting with the squid, the prawns, and then our pork pieces. Once again, fold them into the noodles for one portion, and then we are ready to serve. And there you have it. Absolutely the best fried Hokkien Mee you can make from the comfort of your home kitchen. Add some lime and belacan chilli to the side of the plate, and dinner is served. Does this remind you of the best from the hawker centers? Tell me what you think.